And we're back once again, here to round out our little journey into the deep mines and the Megablocks. I'm just now realizing Megablocks is
Yeah,
a
I'm
Lego
really enjoying
offshoot.
that.
Well, I
It's
might
fine.
rewrite some things later on. Anyway, with that, we are back into this fight where they have found the Banshee of the mine, but oh no, it's real. And we go over to Lita and Drygulch's turn. Who would like to jump into the action first?
Do you have a preference?
I'm going to let you go because my thing is less combat-y.
Cool.
So,
How bad does Ivo look?
That's
Ivo's
a
good.
rude question.
But like after the Colt passes through, you're still standing.
So deeply still standing.
And
Still.
is the Banshee then just like right behind Ivo, so quite close to me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Um I always have some rope on me because it's handy. We already said that we can curse. I want to try to lasso this bitch. I don't know if it'll work, but I want to see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. No, go for it. Absolutely. I'm gonna say fitness rather than combat bonus.
Okay. Let's see. That is a 5.
All right. Well, so good news, bad news. The lasso does in fact interact with the Banshee. Good stuff.
Interesting.
Bad news. Banshee knows how to undo a lasso. We're learning a lot of stuff about the undead here today.
We're learning. We're learning and growing.
The lasso lands over the Banshee. The Banshee looks down and just kind of goes and pulls it out, and then spins back around to Ivo and begins looming once more. You have 2 more exertions. What would you like to do with them?
I'd like to grab this kind of like wooden crutch I've had with me and just swing it as hard as I can right at her.
Okay. Yeah, once again, roll me. I think this is going to just straight up be combat bonus for the bonus.
Okay. That's a 10.
Bloody hell. Yep. Yep, you go swinging on it. You guys are rolling really well, by the way. You go swinging on in, plonking her over the back of the head. I'm trying to imagine how a Banshee who has to focus on a single person would react to that. And I'm coming up blank. But let's say she sort of like tumbles over Ivo's left shoulder, like onto her back, and is just like splayed out on the ground and begins sort of wailing as she tries to get back up once more. Yeah, your final exertion. What would you like to do?
I mean, the most natural thing is for me to try to bash again, I guess. There's this little, like, you see people with mobility aids, right? And the assumption is they must be weak. But usually, whatever part of your body you're using that mobility aid with is disproportionately strong. So, yeah, gonna try to come down hard.
Yep, go ahead. Yep, smack the hell out of her.
Okay, just so everybody knows we're not making this up. It's a couple of 6s there. So even with my 0, because I used my thread and I had started with 1, that's a 12.
Beautiful.
Hell yeah. All right, yeah. So killing a Banshee is sort of an oxymoron, but you know, how do you oxy this moron?
I think banshees are often born of grief. And in this moment, yes, Lita's swinging wildly with this crutch, this improvised mobility aid. Because, I mean, anything's mobility aid if you try hard enough. But what she's actually doing inside is shoving down that grief that she carries that had started to kind of rise up in response to the presence of the spirit. So it's actually that action of trying to shove this back down into the box. Unclear if a creature that's undead can be made dead or stay dead. Probably unlikely that the grief is going to stay in that box, but might get us through the next few minutes.
Yeah, and as you bring it down, the Banshee seems to sort of dissipate into the floor. And you see it is a look of grief and sadness and fear in her eyes as she reaches out and then falls into the rocks of the floor. And you are left standing with the smell of death, red lights flowing, and music pounding nearby. We move on over to Dry Gulch. Combat isn't ending because there is that sense of danger still. Yes, the Banshee was here, but there is still more happening in this mine shaft, and you can feel it. There is something coming, something dangerous where that sound is emanating from.
With the red lights that were, excuse me, illuminating where she was standing, can I, without any action yet, can I see any mechanisms, devices, anything there?
She came around a corner. So where
Okay.
she was standing, there's no devices specifically, no.
Okay. Dry Gulch will move down to the corner she came around
Mm-hmm.
and just, again, fumbles in his pack, pulls out a small mirror and looks around the corner to see if he can see anything, if there's any light coming from down there. If not, he's going to walk around and fling some of his own.
As you hold the mirror up around the corner, there's not much light coming from that area. There's a little bit, but there's not much. What you do notice is as the mirror goes around the corner, it begins vibrating heavily as the sound waves start hitting it. They seem to be quite heavily directed from that position. And even in your hand and arm, you can feel the heavy sounds sort of reverberating in. It's more BG's remixes. They're not doing too well at this point. Truly ear-bleeding stuff. You still have 2 more exertions. How would you like to proceed?
I'm going to step out around the corner to try and get a view of, because I'm assuming the mirror is shaking so much it's blurry.
Yeah, it's
And
hard to see. Yeah.
Self-preservation not being Dry Gulch's highest thing. We'll step around to see if he can see something.
You see a red blinking standby light down the end. You recognize it as such, having seen the other world at least once or twice recently. It's a blinking standby light, the sort that you might see on an old cassette boombox, battery powered. And you see it off in the distance, flashing ominously.
How far?
I would say, God, you guys use feet, not meters.
You can do meters and I'll
We
mentally
can
do
figure
meters.
it out.
Yeah, we can figure that.
About 45 meters.
be a heck of a throw with a hammer at this
Yeah,
distance.
that's far.
Yeah. 120 some odd feet. Dry Gulch will start sprinting down the hall with a hammer at the ready.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Can you roll me fitness?
Yep. 9 on the die, 2 points in fitness for an 11.
Nice.
Absolutely. So the sound waves, that slow most normal people down, but you're not a normal person. You're Dry Gulch. All right. You've dealt with this before. You know this song. You've heard the original. You're running to the beat. You're getting in between the pressure waves. You know what's going on here. And you manage to bop, bop, bop down the way. I'm going to say you are with that roll, I'm going to say you get within a range increment of it. You're now at the 25 feet mark. You go. You are.
Can I
You are
intuit?
demon.
Sorry. Can I intuit? Would it be easier to physically hit the stop button to turn this thing off or depower it, or am I better off just winging a hammer at it? I'm doing a lot this round, and I recognize that. And if I need to wait until the next round, that's fine. Well, you have time to think about it.
I think we'll wait till the next round goes by, but either one would be just as easy in this case. Yeah, it's more so about what else might happen in that time. All right, heading back on around, it's the Mook's turn. All right, and now it's
Oh, we missed Bart.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry,
Bart and his 0 initiative is very sad.
It was in a spot that I wasn't looking because I don't really look for a 0 in the initiative track usually. That's my bad. Proceed, Bart, please. Yes. Once again, you feel this looming presence. This looming danger is still here.
Yeah, Bart kind of looks at his new union member and turns towards the perceived danger. And you see him start to run, but as he hits his third step, there's just this flash of purple around him as he swaps to the cyberpunk world and ends up in the Megablock. Mm-hmm. And you see this little glowing projector on his chest turn off as this red and gray robot pulls a gun off of his leg and just full speed runs forward, looking to see what's around.
You arrive in the loudest club in the district. The smell of carbon monoxide dissipates quite a bit. This place is ducted, so you can move around this area a lot easier. Of course, you don't have to breathe because someone changed the laws of reality, but you get the sense that it would have been easier to move around the club than the mine. While you are here, this music is so incredibly loud, but the speaker system is not here. You can hear the direction the music's coming from, though. You can pinpoint it. And you feel like if you can get to that point, you are going to be able to shift on back over and deal with the source of the music.
Okay.
But
while I am here...
Oh, yeah, proceed.
So he's going to keep running and pull a thread on the cyberpunk side.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to again alter the law of nature for himself to make a range around him where he is the center of gravity. And that's all 3 of my exertions.
The first thing that hits you is the weight of the decision you've made, followed very closely by a bunch of glasses and bottles. And then some people start getting dragged with you as well as you make your way towards the source of this music. The people who would have charged at you in anger are now charging at you out of physical requirement due to the laws of space that have now been altered. And they're no longer charging at you ready to attack. They simply are moving at you now. I'm going to think about how they're going to deal with that particular fact as you barrel down towards the source of this music as the center of gravity and arguably attention in this entire club. Well, it's the Mook's turn. One of them flails at you wildly as he kind of zooms on by. It's good enough.
Oh, it's crazy. He's got to do like a loop too.
Yeah, he gets like an elliptical orbit. Yeah, he gets like an elliptical orbit, and he kind of goes, ah! But on his way past, he manages to just kind of clip you. It almost seems accidental. It's with the clipboard. It breaks over the back. This counts as one wound.
Yep.
And little else, as he cannot do any real follow-up. And he sort of swung around and launched into a bar. The rest of those mooks were not ready for a fight, so they aren't going to do jack or shit. Over to Jeremiah and Ivo. You, both of you, in either order that you wish. The mine is still filled with this gas you don't have to breathe. The Banshee has seemingly dissipated into the floor, and the music is going, and your friend Bartholomew has just disappeared into the ether. Also, gravity feels a little weird right now, but it's not like all that bad. It's just a little off. He's a little pit in the tummy. What would you like to do?
Ivo, do you want to go first this time?
I don't know. If you have a clearer direction, please go ahead.
Okay. First, I'd look down at where the Banshee was, and then look at Lita and say, "I thought you were supposed to be the brains," and then tip my hat. And then, how far am I from where Dry Gulch is at the end of the tunnel?
I'm gonna say it was.
Can I react to that real quick? When you,
Oh, yeah,
to what you
sure.
say? I think she's still looking at the ground. She looks up at you with like a faint ghost of a smirk. But what you're seeing on the top half of the face doesn't match the bottom. And I think from the glowing, like red light from those glow sticks, you see just enough of a reflection that it seems like maybe her cheeks are a bit wet. But that's all.
Nice. I'm gonna say five or so range increments away. Yeah, I'll say 5. It was a very solid fitness roll that got Dry Gulch that far that quickly. Honestly, unbelievably impressive on your end. Yeah, so 5 range increments. So that's 5 actions worth.
Yeah.
5 exertions worth normally. But a good roll might get you there a lot quicker.
And transitioning to the other world would be an exertion, right?
I believe a single exertion, yeah.
Yep.
I would look down the hall or down the tunnel and judge that it's too far for me to just get down there. And then kind of throw my head back and sigh. And then transition to the cyberpunk world.
Bam. There you are. In the club. A whole man goes flying past your head. The music is loud, but not damaging. There are things flying in directions they shouldn't be, including you. As you are now moving quickly behind your dear friend Bartholomew, who is sort of just dragging you in his own gravity field. So I'm going to say you get to move an extra range increment just kind of freely because gravity's not right. And then what would you like to do with your remaining 2 exertions?
Can I see quickly if anyone is attacking Bartholomew?
The guy who flew over your shoulder did. There seems to be a few more in the VIP area getting ready to, including a notably dressed man in a fuzzy coat with fuzzy slippers, a strangely like hat curved with a cross, and a scepter with razor wire on it, who seems to be getting ready to deal some damage. You see the scepter is freshly adorned with blood.
Immediately when I spot the scepter, I'm going to think that's the guy I'm shooting at. My other question is, how far is it?
I'm going to say 50 feet, 2 range increments.
Okay. So I have. Actually, that's not going to help. Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely taking a shot at it.
Alrighty. I would like you to roll for it.
David, why?
Because fuck him, that's why.
I think you mean fuck me. You're shooting through altered gravity.
I know Rex has the hammer, but Jeremiah is the hammer and seeing a bunch of nails.
Right. If Jeremiah was both smarter and more forethoughtful,
We are rivals.
but in his brain, he heard about the guy with the wrapped with the razor wire wrapped thing was a jackass, and jackasses get one thing, and that is a 5+2.
5 plus 2, so 7 total. That
Yes.
puts you into basic success category, which, thank God, could have been a lot worse.
Mm-hmm.
Funny thing about the king, a lot of people like setting them up with like stats and like real things. I just made him a mook, so he's dead. So he's dead. And you fire, the bullet zips through the air. It begins to curve, but you were ready for this. All right? You're a good enough shot. You understood what was going to happen here. It curves slightly. It goes around the velvet rope, through the scepter, and in to his head. His stupid head. And quickly toppling from it goes the crown and the scepter, and then his fluffy slippers, and then him. And I will actually just real quick. Hey, look at that! That's 12. Can because the king obviously gets to make his attack. Hey, but you have a scepter covered in razor wire, just like flying at you at full speed.
Excellent.
You're going to take a single wound as it slams into you.
You start to see Bart.
Oh,
You start to see Bart like smoke and shoot sparks. He's not doing well.
that's so rough. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to think of ways this gravity's going to affect. I'm like, this.
No, you're fine.
Everything's literally flying at you. Alrighty, Ivo.
Ivo looks down, catches Lita's side of Lita's very complex emotional reaction, puts a hand on her shoulder, doesn't say anything, and then just bamps into the cyberpunk world.
You see the man you shared a drink with, the man that you promised to write about, the man you lied to for such a long time. You see that he has died.
Thank God.
But worse, you see that the bullet through his head, the no thoughts at all left remaining. You see that the face has the same expression on it, just completely thoughtless and empty, with nothing behind the eyes. And just you think to yourself, wow, some things never change. Also, Ivo Patterson goes flying past too.
Right about that, I guess, mate.
And yeah, you're in the club. You've been here before.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're here now. What would you like to do?
I'm going to pull a thread to activate my unique ability, because I think at this moment, having realized that the problem affecting the Old West town seems to be the same coming from the music here. I pull out my a small black address book, just stuffed full of just names, numbers, and a cell phone. And I dial. Now, if the Banshee was alive, I would have to hold a different plan because I was just to build on your thing. I was fully going to call the Pope. But I am going to call.
Now I feel bad about killing the Banshee.
No,
That
it's
would have been
fine
amazing.
because
I love that. I mean, you could still
uh,
call the Pope.
yeah, but I don't think the Pope is going to be able to
Tell
have
him
the
to bring
power
his
to do what
dancing
I want to
shoes.
do right now.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to call is um, shout out to all the wonderful nerds out there. Former Secretary of Labor Robert Reich. Um,
Okay.
and I'm going to
Yep.
say, Bobby, I need because my unique ability is just oh, I know a guy. I know the first person that can help in this situation. And I'm gonna say, Bob, I need the power shut down to Megablock. We're in the Megablock 4, right? Or 6,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I need the power shut
Mega
down
block
to
for you.
Megablock 4. Can you do that for me?
Uh, he answers in the affirmative. I don't feel I could do justice to the impression,
Fair.
but he answers in the affirmative, and within like 15 seconds, my power's gone. It's gone, and the lights stop. Everyone's sort of worried. Like the emergency lights come on, the pointing which way to go. Um, there's still that music in the distance,
So and
but
so where is that coming from?
without the light, without the lights in the club, you can see a sort of purple l- glow coming from one of the walls, and you can see that is where the music is emanating from. It's coming through through a portal of its own,
Okay.
that has been developed there. And without the power, you are now fully able to pinpoint it without having to try and listen out for it.
All right. Bart, Jeremiah, I'll point it out to them. And like it's inside the wall.
Yeah, basically, there's a wall where the speakers would have been originally, and instead, there's now just the purple glow coming from it.
Cool. I'm gonna run at it full tilt as my final exertion.
All right. Could you roll me a fitness roll?
Yeah. With my 0 points in fitness, we're gonna rock it. Okay, that's a 9.
Hell yeah! You run at it full tilt, and you go through the portal. You make it, and you go through. And in a flash, we're going to resolve the other half of what happens, along with Dry Gulch, who is on the other half of that portal. Dry Gulch, which approach are you taking to this speaker in front of you?
How far away? So Dry Gulch.
You had one range increment.
Okay. I'm going to close on it. But also,
Mhm.
as I'm approaching it, I'm looking to see if there are any wires leading to this boombox to power it.
There seems to be a D battery in the back of it.
I pull the D
But
battery.
like a cyberpunk D battery.
Yeah, because otherwise it would be like
really
a dozen
cool.
It's
D
D
cells.
shaped.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like a good one though that works. Yeah, cool. Yeah, all right. Yeah, you just rip that battery out, and the music kind of cuts. It slows down for half a second, and then it just cuts, and you're standing there, battery in hand, and you think, "Wow, that was easy." For your second exertion, I don't normally live in the realm of telling players to make checks as an action. Could I ask that you make a fitness check to dodge the man who's coming out of nowhere?
Well, my next exertion was going to be to go to the cyberpunk world because things seem solved here. But yes. That is a 9, and I've got 2 in fitness, so that's an 11.
So, all right. So, Ivo, you dive through. You see a wide-eyed Drygolt kind of stare at you as he disappears into purple, and you land in the, and you just perfectly swap places.
Okay.
And you have now landed back in the mine, and you're sort of looking around. And Drygolt, you find yourself in this tacky club. What would you like to do with your exertion?
If I could flavor it a little bit, as I'm going
Yeah.
through, I'm kind of like diving and reaching with one hand.
Yes.
And as Evo comes through, he just high fives them.
Yes.
And they just kind of like
Yes.
propel each other a little extra.
Hell yeah. That's absolutely awesome.
So, how I arrive in the club, how far away, and we felt the in our tummies with the gravity, how far away is Bart now?
Bart was moving forward at full tilt towards the direction. I'm going to say with the additional gravity attraction, I would say 2 range increments, but 1 less because also gravity's pulling you that way.
Okay,
So within 25 feet, effectively.
I have to be in contact with Bart to do what I want to do.
So if you just jump up, you will fall into me.
Yeah. You can absolutely get in contact because of the gravity without exerting yourself.
Okay. I'm going to use a unique feature because I'm now in the cyberpunk world and try and recover material and pull out whatever the gravity portion module is that is in Bart to, or otherwise deactivate
it. Okay. Yeah. All right. So you spend your thread, you drop towards Bart, and as the same way you high-fived Ivo on the way through, you sort of high chest Bart. And you hit it in just the right spot. And gravity returns to normal. You are able to land properly because you were expecting this. This was your plan. But you land normally. You were expecting this. Jeremiah, you sort of stumble slightly, but you're okay. Everything's all right. You were still kind of upright when you took your shot. Like 5 people hit the ground sideways, though. And just in all different directions. And they hit everywhere. You hear glass shattering. You hear things breaking. And everything goes quiet. But as the final actor in this combat round,
sort of
clean up.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm so sorry. Leader, I'm so sorry. Yes, leader.
I took up a lot of air in the room there.
No, I think what's interesting here is like Lita's having a moment, but she doesn't hear any music anymore.
No.
She doesn't see anyone.
No.
There's just some red glow sticks around and some bodies, right?
You did hear the very distinctive sound of a high five.
That's true.
You do hear that.
If I've been spending this much time with a bunch of men, I probably have heard that before.
Yeah. You do also, the only other person around you is Jack, standing nearby with a bucket and a spade. Just dumbfounded at what he has seen transpire.
Okay. I want to reach down and pick up one of the guns from one of the bodies.
Yep.
Tuck it into my waistband. I don't know at which point I'm using exertions. I also want to pop that the eye in that was in my pocket, pop it in.
I'm going to say the exertions are when you're really exerting yourself.
Yeah.
This is all just sort of like you're just picking stuff up. That's fine.
And I'm going to look at Jack, and I'd like to use... I have a tech I can use once permission called Laid on Thick, where I convince one character to hand over an item at no cost to me. It can't be used to gain an item that accomplishes a mission. So if somehow this is accomplishing a mission, no. But I just want to kind of do a like hand it over kind of symbol to get the bucket of silver ore.
Yeah. He overwhelmed by everything that has transpired. The bucket of silver leaves his hand and goes straight to yours. He hands it over without thinking.
Do I have a sense of do I feel like I'm in danger? Do I feel like we're still in it? Or does it feel calm?
Everything seems much calmer now. There is still a sense that things are off, that maybe there's something here that might have been overlooked or missed, but also that everything you were sent here to do has been accomplished.
Then I think I'd look at him and be like, come with me. Just kind of jerk of the head, have enough of, get one of the big glow sticks out so we're not totally stumbling in the dark. And at a nice, comfortable pace, walk in the direction I saw everybody running before. Walk after them, my mobility aid returning to its use, no longer just a tool of violence. We'll think about whether or not to clean the blood off of it later. Or I guess, I don't know if there was blood on it. And I think she's just going to try to piece together what the hell happened.
Yeah. Okay.
So if we just use the exertions as movements, that's fine. If one of these exertions is a check to be like,
yeah. Look, I'll say do me a check of Chronicles, intuition, secrecy. Yeah, one of those three, please.
I feel like secrecy is more her vibe. I mean, a lot of purveying and tech and making things work and finding hidden things is kind of in that realm. So that's just a 5.
Okay. You walk out to where Ivo is now sort of dusting himself off after a crisp high 5. The boombox is not functional. It's just kind of sitting there. As you look around, you sort of think this is a strange spot for everything to have concluded. This is sort of in the middle of nowhere in the mine. It's not a special room. There's nothing really here. And you think, but unless there is, everything you've kind of heard and put together leads to there being something important happening here. There's something that has to have been missed. And you see a small mound over in the corner of the room. It's in the shadows. Most people would have overlooked it. It looks freshly dug. Or freshly filled in, I should say. But it stands out to you quite a bit. You notice that old Jack seems a little shifty. Doesn't seem to really want to be interacting with that. Kind of wants to get out of here. But there's something about that freshly dug pile that really stands out to you.
Yeah, as I kind of clock that, I'll try to make eye contact with Ivo and look over at it. I think I've probably used every exertion I have in my turn, I'm guessing.
Yeah, look, I'll say
then,
about there you have.
Okay, cool.
But gravity returns to normal.
Good thing,
The
too.
high chest was successful. You're feeling a little run down, but I mean, the nightclub is run down as well, but things seem to be returning to normalcy. There's a feeling of standing on edge. After this, we're out of combat, but just right now, you are feeling on edge still. What would you like to do?
You see Bart as a robot look at Gulch like he's going to say something, and this dot matrix paper starts printing out of his mouth that feeds back into him before you hear, "Oh, Gulch, if you wanted a hug, you could have just asked."
So Gulch smiles at this and proffers you the D-cell battery, knowing that you have a universal charger and can use it to top up. Gulch in this world wears like army paramilitary surplus gear that he stitches back together. It's all like tactical gear, but it's filled with tools. And he's still short. He's like 5'4", 5'5". But his, instead of it being sunburn, it's welding spark burns on his arms. He just protects his eyes, so like his face has that weathering of someone who hasn't been properly protecting themselves. He probably reeks a little bit of solder and other stuff just soaked into his clothes. Still has long hair, and is wearing a hat, but it's just a ball cap. It's just like black ball cap. He's got black aviators, standard superhero in disguise gear from nowadays, if you will, that he can blend in a lot of environments, because his clothing is just generic enough, but it's old. And anywhere it's patched with a purple thread.
Hell yeah. And Bart will kind of pick up Gulch to extra standing of like, we're good, look around and survey all of the people and just shrug as much as a robot can before taking the battery, slotting it into an open spot, and moving ahead. And when he slots it in, Bart, who is B4R7 assembly robot in the cyberpunk world, is going to use one of the threads to immediately drain that battery and start doing internal repairs.
Nice. I like that. All right. Wonderful. Was there anything else you would like to do quickly on your turn?
No, I think that's, at least for ending combat,
Okay.
I'm good.
Hell yeah. All right. Then we shift briefly back over to the west, where Ivo and Lita stand with old Jack with a suspicious mountain nearby.
I think.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, proceed. That was basically it.
Lita looks at Ivo and just kind of like
Yep.
uses her head gesture over at the person, knowing that people skills are not necessarily her forte. Still
Ivo.
hauling the bucket of silver, but is going to go over and kind of squat down near that mound to take a look at it. And I think the moment she connected with the Banshee is starting to, and she kind of let go of it for a second, but that's starting to resonate again, and that very distinctly feminine rage I think is burning inside her a bit, so she'll let someone else handle the talking now.
Ivo walks over to old Jack. And he had a bucket and a pickaxe was what he had before, you said?
A spade.
Takes the spade out of his hands and just sort of holds it in one hand, puts an arm around Jack's shoulder. And only at that point does Jack realize that Ivo has pulled another one of his throwing knives out of his jacket and is holding it briefly pressed up against Jack's throat and says, "Jackie, baby." What happened
Yeah?
to the Queen of Diamonds?
He doesn't say anything, but you catch his eye line. It's not looking at the mound anymore.
Hmm.
It's looking at the end of his spade.
Hmm.
And you finally take the second to look, and you see the end of it is covered in blood.
Have we seen any silver ore so far?
I've got a bucket of silver ore.
No, like
Yeah, just the
anywhere
silver.
he might have
That's
gotten
it.
that from.
Nope.
No.
Interesting, man. And you said you were the only one who knew where the silver was, right?
Yeah, but he doesn't have a proper response.
Okay. Well, I think you understand now that you're going to have to tell us where it is. Knife presses just a little bit into his neck.
Boy, it's a good thing his union rep's not there.
Most of it's
I think
most of it's
I
been
think he's
loaded onto one of the
management.
trucks.
Uh, I think he's management now. Uh, since we killed all the other people, or all the other people above
Yeah,
him are dead, so not part of the union.
process of elimination. Yeah.
Yeah, loaded onto the trucks. But this bucket, where did it come from?
They weren't going to split it. You got to understand. They said they'd split it.
I understand.
I took it back. Damn it! It's mine. I earned it.
Mm.
As I'm looking, like as
You
I'm
go.
kneeling next to the mound and looking carefully at it, do I see anything up close?
Uh,
Because I think I'm
the
just
edge of the dirt.
listening to this, but studying the dirt. Yeah.
Not on the dirt mound itself, but around the edge of it, you do see bloody drag marks, as if something was dragged into the pit before it was filled in.
Yeah. Is it? I mean, is this very loose dirt? Is this something where?
Yeah, it's not been compacted. It was just sort of
Yeah.
filled in.
I think I'm gonna stand very slowly and deliberately, leaning on that crutch that has many uses,
Mhm.
and kind of have my shoulders squared towards old Jack, just to give a little bit more weight to anything Ivo wants to do here.
Toss Lita the shovel.
Just nice. Grab it, put it on the other side. Crutches are better used in pairs ergonomically. And if you want, I'll start digging.
Actually, maybe should
Or should we wait?
hold on one sec. No, I think I will just look at Lita for a moment, just trying to get a sense for what's going on in her head. And then my eyes will look down to the mound, back to Jack. It says, no, I think he should do the digging.
Yeah, if you make contact with her, there's a little bit of intensity. That's maybe, 10-15% of what you saw before it passed through you. And she'll just kind of hold the shovel out gently towards him, like, be my guest.
So just to be clear, you are wanting him to unearth the
Oh,
mound,
yeah, we should
or are
probably
you wanting him
clarify
to dig
that.
his own?
I was leaning towards the second one.
Oh, yeah.
¿Por qué
Okay.
no los dos?
All right. So he will begin digging his own.
Every time he looks back at Ivo, Ivo has somehow pulled out yet another knife.
Fair enough. I think we will leave up to interpretation what happens then.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
We flash over to the cyberpunk world as the whole team is sort of just slowly rocking back and forth down the loudest freight elevator you've ever heard. It squeals and it creaks, and it makes a sound that shrieks down your spine, not unlike a banshee. And when you get to the bottom, you see a whole bunch of exploited workers taking a damn break because there's no one there to tell them what to do anymore. And they're having a well-earned rest. You see your car sitting there undisturbed, undamaged, ready to go. The rest of you are sort of hanging around. You know, there's public transport in this world. You could hail another
You
car. You
guys
could
need
go
a ride
back.
anywhere?
I think I've
Well,
got some work to do.
Well, I reckon I might as well get back to the shop. I got some salvage I got to take care of. Get some things to desolder or resolder and otherwise take care of. So I'll be doing that.
I think Lita does not want to go to the cyberpunk world. I think she's going to exit the mine and see what she can make of this town.
Fair enough.
I think Iva would be a bit worried about Lita at this point. So when we go back to the car, he's going to toss the keys to Jeremiah and say, "All yours, buddy," and then bamf back into the Old West world.
If you did come over and check it out, she's repairing a piano
Great.
in the saloon.
Hell
Oh,
yeah.
and then the last thing from Ivo is we'll look at you repairing a piano and be like, you know what? Actually, I know a guy, and then we'll just cut away there.
And with that, we zoom out from Megablock 4, seeing it in ruins and yet also in the light of the sun for the first time. It seems like it's going to be a little bit of a brighter future there. No security raids, no gang wars. And we see the sunrise on Silver Rock Falls as well. There is a cleanup that needs to happen, but the right people are there. And we think this town might be all right. And with that, I think for now, that will bring to a close this session of Duality. I'd like to thank everyone for playing.
Yeah, huge thank you to everybody for being here. If you have enjoyed what we've played, or if you missed some of it, one, you can catch Duality on Kickstarter. We have met our goal. We are heading for stretch goals where we add a brand new space setting, which includes 5 brand new archetypes, as well as a full setting guide for the Veldaris star system, so that you can enter the same world as the folks from our Delta Shift game. And that includes 4 more episodes minimum of our Delta Shift game. You can see our players come back. You can see David back as Isaiah, the person that people have questioned the most post-game. I'm not going to lie, the most. But we will do a quick round table to see who folks are. We're going to start with Brad. Thank you for being our storyteller today. Who are you? Where can we find you? And what are you doing?
So Brad Smith. I'm Brad dash Tales Untold, basically everywhere. You can find me on Instagram, Blue Sky, so on and so forth. I'm a game designer. I wrote a game called Gilmoral Technogothic Nightmare. If you liked this sort of mystery, this sort of setup for a game, you might like that as well. But I think you'll also really like Duality. It was made by a pretty cool guy too. Elizabeth.
Yeah, I'm Elizabeth McLean. Thank you all so much for including me. This was amazing. I lead a team called Open the Gates Gaming. So by day, I'm a professor of musicology and director of disability studies at Virginia Tech. But this is a transdisciplinary research team and a lot of community members and industry partners now who think that play is a human right and everyone's a storyteller. So we want to make sure everybody can access play and storytelling through. We started with tools to make Dungeons and Dragons more accessible, but we're especially excited about systems like Duality that have access built in. But yeah, so glad. I don't know if we're popcorning it, but I'm tempted to popcorn it to Sean since you're also Open the Gates Gaming. But yeah, you can check us out on Twitch. Our channel is Open the Gates Gaming, and we'll be playing Brindlewood Bay pretty much every Thursday, almost every Thursday this summer, except for when we have special occasions and some other guests coming on board. And we're also on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, and we got a Discord server if you're interested in learning more about our work.
Yeah, and if you haven't already, last week we had the absolute joy and pleasure of talking with Matt about Duality on our Twitch stream. You can find that at Open the Gates Gaming Twitch. I'm Sean Sidke. I am also part of Open the Gates Gaming. By day, I am a professor of religious studies and Jewish studies, and by I guess later in the afternoon and on weekends. I spend a lot of time gaming and working with folks like Elizabeth to think about inclusion and accessibility in gaming worlds. I guess I should also do my real, we're online diligence and say and plug my podcast, which is Go Fetch. It is, to quote one of our hosts, the only podcast on the internet where between 2 and 3 numbers are unclear at this point. White people complain about things. And otherwise, I just wanted to thank you all so much for this. This has been a really wonderful opportunity, a real joy. And yeah, come hang out with us in our Discord, come chat, especially if you are, writing, designing, developing your own games or interested in seeing how our tools can support you as well. I'm particularly interested in sort of world building and narrative design, but we have plenty of other folks who are excited about different elements of this too. This will maybe just jump over to David.
Hi, I'm David, aka Full Rubber Ducky. I'm one half of Chaotic Wholesome, with Kay, who has been in chat off and on. You can find me and them on Tuesdays doing the Table Talk show. Come check us out. Also, Kay is in a bunch of streamed games right now, a list of which I do not have off the top of my head. But if you come by on Tuesday, Kay will tell you about them. And then Rex.
Hi, everybody. I'm Rex Verdi. I'm not really anywhere on the internet. You can find me on Blue Sky. You can find me affectionately somewhere between heckling and committing atrocious puns in Discord chats. If I can get David to facepalm at something I've typed, usually about centaurs, I feel like I've done my job. And yeah, I'm happy to have been, as Matt said, had the chance to help with playtesting Duality, and last PAX Unplugged I was unable to make it, unfortunately, but I did have a panel on So Your Friends Have Suckered You Into Running a Game, Now What? With 5 very talented panelists who carried the weight for me not being there. Hoping to do another one this year. We shall see. And with that, I will pass it to Matt.
Thank you. I'm Matt. I do things on the internet, and now in like 5 days, our Kickstarter ends. I will be a published game designer, which is a very weird thing to think about. I'm incredibly excited this is the first time I've gotten to play the game, which is fantastic. It's so much fun. It's great seeing that I can hand it off to another storyteller. Partially because that means you at home, you person looking at me in the camera right now, you can run this game. It's super easy. It's very low numbers. As Elizabeth mentioned and Sean mentioned, we were talking about accessibility. The whole book is designed to make it as accessible to folks as possible, ranging from color blindness checks to our opacity, text sizes, literally everything we can do to make it available and accessible, we have done. We're also working on a markdown version of the PDF file, which I have to figure out how that's going to play out. But if you use something like Obsidian, or you want to use a screen reader, it is incredibly screen reader friendly. The markdown indicates which are headers, which are sections. It handles everything for you. We are very excited for what is to come. And we're aiming for $4,000. We hit our goal. We are, I think, $300 away from our next stretch goal, which would be the whole Veldaris Star System Setting Guide, including 5 new archetypes. I feel like I've talked about spending money in an economy where spending money is money. Actually, yeah. Shout out to DC for even mentioning a markdown version, because I hadn't considered it, and now it's an additional accessibility tool I can provide. That's what we're here for. So, thank you. Thank you to everybody for hanging out. Thank you to the players for showing up. There is potential for another game. Ren did need to reschedule, so keep your eyes peeled. And yeah, this is the internet. Thank you. Thank you, internet, for being here and doing things and watching me turn gravity weird. All right. Thank you to everyone. We are going to wrap up here. This will be on YouTube shortly. Apparently, I'm supposed to take breaks or something. I get in trouble a lot. So that's see, Rex. Yeah, see, that's my face too. And then I get yelled at that I need to go take a break and take time
Think
off.
of what Bart would say.
Rest is a revolutionary act. Do it.
That's true. That's
we need
true.
The sustainability too. I am the world's biggest hypocrite about this. So do as I say, not as I do. But we can all help each other get there.
Right. All right. Thank you to everyone. We will see you back here at some point next week. Keep your eye on socials. I am trying to plan a couple other things, so we'll keep you posted. Bye, everybody.
Bye.